Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. I'm your host, Dave Glover. InvestorToday.ca is brought to you in conjunction with RBL Communications, your online IR professionals. Today is Friday, the 21st of December, and today I'm interviewing Debut Diamonds President Chris Meraw. Debut Diamonds, Inc. is a Canadian public company listed on the CNSX, trading under the symbol DDI. The company's principal business activity is the acquisition, exploration, and development of mineral properties with a focus and exploration for diamond-bearing kimberlite deposits in the James Bay lowland of northern Ontario and gold exploration south of Timmins, Ontario. Chris Meraw, welcome to the show.
Hello, Dave. Great to hear from you again.
And you as well. Now, the last time we talked, we were really kind of focused on the diamond exploration. You were still in the process of negotiation with your First Nation partners in the area, and I refer to them as your First Nations partners because during our last conversation, we really discovered that Debut Diamond's relationship with the First Nations is probably paramount to moving forward, isn't it?
Well, it is, and in the environment these days, you've really got to have those relationships in place. In April of 2013, the exploration agreement with the affected First Nation will be mandatory, and of course permitting from the provincial government will have to follow based on proving that you've had the consultation and the agreement. We were successful in late August in getting Arrowland First Nation on side for an 18-hole program that we conducted through October and November of this year. We just finished recently. And this is in the southern area of our Nakina Project. It was all about kimberlite exploration, kimberlite looking for diamondiferous kimberlite, hopefully. We didn't actually visually identify any kimberlite over the program. It was a $1.9 million program over 18 targets, as I said. Mm-hmm. And we were able to work in the southern central part of the project area because of the agreement with Arrowland. There's a northern part of the area that we can't go into until we get an agreement with the other First Nations. So, as the kimberlite exploration last year, we gave it our best. Its exploration, is a tough business on a good day, mm-hmm. And so far we got skunked in the southern part of the area. But what we did in late October is signed a letter of intent with a company called Fletcher Nickel to work on something that they call the Timmins South Gold property, and it's a highly prospective area for gold exploration south of Timmins. And what we did was a $500,000 fall work program, which we had and we budgeted for. And we've done a number of things to get the Fletcher Gold property ready for drilling in January.
Well, so it sounds like we're definitely moving forward. Now, this cost you quite a bit of money, $2.5 million that you're going to be spending between now, obviously, upon the initial $500,000 plus the rest of it to be spent through the 31st of December 2014.
Right, so it's a $2.5 million work commitment over 2 years. The initial $500,000, as I said, is almost completed. Had to be done so before the end of this year. First, let me tell you about the property. We're calling this Timmins South Gold. It's 116 square kilometers running north-south of the Texmont mine. It's in an area that's highly prospective for gold. There's a lot of historic gold occurrences in the area and on the property. The most interesting thing is our neighbor to the southwest, a company called SGX Resources, announced in mid-November a credible new discovery. It was a drill hole that came up with 68.5 grams per ton, over 6.3 meters uncut. Really a phenomenal showing on that hole. This area is along what we call the Cadillac-Larder Lake Break. And there's a splay. When you look at the geologic maps of the area, you can see the Cadillac-Larder Lake Break, and there's the Orica Gold, Young-Davidson mine producing there. It's an area in the Timmins Gold Camp that's proven and established, and there's production in this area. But along what we call the extension or the splay is right where we are with our property. We're really excited about it. Not a lot of work has been done in this area for gold. There's been a little historical work, but the community out there, the geology community, really thinks there's a lot of potential, along the splay here, just off the break. In our fall work program, we did all the compilation of all the historical work and data that was available. We did an airborne geophysical survey over the Otter Claim Group. We've done a lot of prospecting during the fall on the property, taking grab samples and getting those assayed, and we've had some gold showings. Nothing economic because we haven't sunk a drill, and we really have to, prove, our theories here. But we just completed cutting 75 kilometers of lines, and this is for IP surveys that are really going to help us to determine, where to put these drill collars. So, with the airborne geophysical survey and then the line cutting and the IP surveys underway, we're going to be interpreting all of this in a final sense in the first couple weeks of January before we start drilling on the property.
So very exciting then for the final part of 2012, but obviously now we're looking into 2013. Can you give the listeners a sort of an overview? I mean, we've pretty much covered on everything that was done in 2012. Was there any aspect of the work that was done this year that one would have considered maybe a disappointment for you, Chris?
Well, there's 3 First Nations that relate to 3 of our really important diamond exploration projects, and I was able to come to terms with the one chief. The other 2, the consultation is ongoing. It's a relationship building process, and it takes time. So, really, we've given it our all for 2012 in that regard, and we did, a really good job in going after the early stage exploration in Nakina South. We're going to get back to those diamond properties. We're going to go out and raise more money in 2013, hopefully when we have a better market and a better stock price. But in the meantime, we haven't lost momentum, and by putting the drills up there at Timmins South Gold on these properties in the first couple weeks of January, we're going to be generating news, not next spring, not next summer, but very shortly here, first part of the new year.
Well, yeah, especially with the work that you're still in the process of finalizing your last bit of work there for this initial phase, this first 500,000. So obviously the news for that won't come out until the middle part of January anyway.
Well, that's just it. Once the drills are on the property and we're retrieving core and getting it assayed, it's all going to be about the results in the core, the assays being favorable for prospective gold here. So we're really excited about it. We're in a hot area. Our neighbors to the south are having incredible success. The First Nations in this area are very business-oriented and motivated to do business. Each situation like that is different, so we don't anticipate any slowdown with respect to that part of the deal. And it's funny, when Debut was spun out from KWG Resources a year ago, our positioning in the exploration market has been a pure play, diamond-focused exploration company. And, it's funny to be standing here talking to you about a gold project that we're going to drill the first part of January in Timmins South. It's almost surreal. At the end of the day, you've got to go where the opportunities are, and you've got to go where you think you're going to have the potential for, shorter-term success from an exploration standpoint.
Well, and that's why they call it exploration, isn't it? I mean, you go out there with the intent of mining, product A, and then you find product B, and you're just as successful there. And it doesn't mean that you're going to give up on the diamonds, but if you've got the bird in a hand, as they say, why wouldn't you?
Well, you're absolutely correct. And in our recent Nakina project, while we didn't obviously identify or discover any kimberlite pipes, we did encounter other mineralization, which leads to other theories on what we might do in the future in the middle and the northern parts of that project area. When you're out in the field, you're zigging and zagging, as they say. Your exploration team, your geology experts will, on the spot sometime make a decision to go in a different direction or go after something different based on what they're seeing in their hands. So that's the way it is, and you go with the flow on these exploration projects. And the key is we're going to be drilling in January, and we're looking at prospective gold, and we're really excited about the potential of those targets.
Well, again, I want to remind the listeners that I've been speaking with Chris Meraw, who is the president of Debut Diamonds, which trades on the CNSX under the symbol DDI. Initially a diamond exploration company, now we're moving into the realm of gold, and of course we haven't given up on the diamonds. I want to thank you for joining us here today, Chris. Very exciting stuff, very exciting news for those shareholders involved with Debut Diamonds, and for those listeners that are thinking about looking at Northern Ontario, this is definitely one for the radar. For InvestorToday.ca, I'm Dave Glover. We'll see you next time.